Fran Nicholson was a whirling dervish of activity at any given time. Walking, talking, baking, sewing, entertaining, designing jewelry, throwing jewelry parties, helping others, you name it. Fran Nicholson loved to talk. She never met a stranger. She loved her dog Sandy, and she had a most infectious laugh. She was the life of the party and the center of attention, all the while helping others. She was all of these things and so much more. And then she wasn't. In March of 2013, my mom, Fran Nicholson, was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. Our family was blindsided. We had no idea what to do first. Tired of calling so many family members and friends to let them know about this awful diagnosis, whatever it meant, I turned to Facebook. My mom was diagnosed with early stages of Alzheimer's today. Families just like ours are still being blindsided. Former First Lady Rosalind Carter once said, "There are only 4 kinds of people in the world: those who will be caregivers, those who are caregivers, those who have been caregivers, and those who will need caregivers." Odds are, you'll be one of those, if not all 4, at some point or another in your lifetime. Yes, there's a lot of information you can turn to out there. Too much, really. And trying to make sense of it all is just so damn frightening and confusing at a time when you're already frightened and confused. There's still no cause, there's still no cure, and families still aren't planning or talking about what is coming. So we're going to talk about it here. I'm Dayna Steele, and this is Surviving Alzheimer's. Hey there, how are ya? Hanging in there? A couple of things about this podcast before we begin. First, if you haven't figured it out yet, I am Dayna Steele, and Fran Nicholson was my mother. We went through this crazy-ass Alzheimer's journey with her for about 2.5 years. Never saw it coming, or so we thought. You'll find out more about that as the podcast continues. I chronicled that entire journey on Facebook, then in a book to help others, Surviving Alzheimer's with Friends, Facebook, and a really big glass of wine. Now as a caregiver crusader on TikTok and Instagram, and in a dark comedy play titled The Woman in the Mirror. Yes, my entire life is now all about #surviving Alzheimer's. This podcast will introduce you to Mom, our family, her friends, my friends, the process, the funny. Yes, it is okay to laugh at Alzheimer's. And the sad and the awful and everything in between. And hopefully give you some ways to navigate what's happening and what is coming. Loved ones and families are still to this day blindsided when they hear the diagnosis or even just start to notice memory problems in someone they love. Many have never talked about the what if or made any plans if the what if happens. So we're going to talk about it with experts, doctors, professional caregivers, and real people who have gone through this or are going through it right now with the ones they love.
This was the first year my mom forgot my birthday.
I have known Dayna Steele for many years. We shared a love of space and education, but we had no idea that we were going to share Alzheimer's and dementia.
I can't tell you how painful it was to watch my mom waste away.
I think in the beginning, I found it like a real chore, a real burden. I just wish this didn't happen, but here we go. And when that one doctor was like, fasten your seatbelt.
This isn't a fancy audio drama. It's just me. Caregiver crusader, voiceover artist, engineer, chief cook, and bottle washer. Sometimes I'll be in a professional studio, like today, thanks to my friend Bill McGathy. Sometimes I'll be in a closet in a hotel room somewhere. Sometimes I'll be somewhere noisy, if it's the only time and place I can find to record. But I will be here for you every week. At some point, we may turn the play, The Woman in the Mirror, into one of those audio dramas. But until then, this is just a place we can talk, and hopefully I can answer some questions for you. The very least is to let you know you're not alone in this caregiver shit. And there is no right way or wrong way to do this. You just do it. You have no other choice. Charlie, aka Wonder Husband, asked, "Why are you doing this now?" That's a very good question because I got plenty of other things to do. But I've wanted to do this for a really long time, and it just seems like the time is now. My wonderful, amazing, beautiful, exasperating at times mom, Fran Nicholson, died 8 years ago today. On that day, I decided she wouldn't die without purpose, that her story and my story, our stories, would live on to help others in any way we can. So here we are. Next week, our very first full episode of Surviving Alzheimer's, we'll talk about symptoms, the first stages of the disease, what you should be looking for, maybe what you're missing, and what you should be worried about. Is it just normal forgetfulness in the later stages of a full life, or is it the beginning of what is coming? Be sure to subscribe to the podcast wherever you're listening to this introduction so you don't miss an episode. And you and I will do this together. This podcast is brought to you in part by the book Surviving Alzheimer's with Friends, Facebook, and a really big glass of wine. When Mom was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, I posted it on Facebook. What started as a way to let friends and family know Mom had Alzheimer's turned into a support system for me, and from that turned into a support system and a community. The first half of the book is the Facebook post, and that's to give people a sense of you're not alone. There's no right, there's no wrong. It's okay to laugh at inappropriate things. It's okay to cry. It's okay to say bad words, drink wine, and throw things. The other half of the book is very important resources for caregivers. The one thing I want you to take away is you never know. Love your family. Love everyone. Take every adventure. Do everything, but also make sure you have everything ready to go and you're organized in the background so that when all is said and done, you have lived today. I wish I had known. And if I wish I had known, I think there's other people that wish they could know what's coming next. Surviving Alzheimer's with Friends, Facebook, and a really big glass of wine is available at Amazon in paperback and Kindle versions. And now, back to the podcast, Surviving Alzheimer's with Dayna Steele. You've been listening to Surviving Alzheimer's with Dayna Steele. If you have a comment or a question or a short story to share, reach out to us on social media. You'll find us everywhere. The transcript, images, family pictures, and links associated with this episode can always be found on our website at survivingalzheimerspodcast.com. Surviving Alzheimer's with Dayna Steele is produced by JFA Entertainment and Blue Squirrel Productions, Dayna Steele executive producer. Thanks to our podcast advisor, Toby Goodman from cxspartners.com. Original music composed and performed by Jeannie Cunningham. You can find the book, Surviving Alzheimer's with Friends, Facebook, and a really big glass of wine, in paperback and Kindle versions on Amazon.com. The Woman in the Mirror play will be staged at the new Revolution Stage Company in Palm Springs, California in the spring of 2024. Ticket information and dates coming soon. Need more? Visit that website, survivingalzheimerspodcast.com. As Mom always said, I love you. A bushel and a peck, and a hug around the neck.